Did you see today? I actually saw this. I actually watched about 5 minutes of it. And at first, it was the Donald Trump live with Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. And Donald Trump calls them Chuck and Nancy.
Right.
Right. And at first, it was a fight over the border wall and shutting down the government. And at first I thought, there they are. We'll talk about what they said in a second. At first I said, what a joke this is. It's so staged and canned for cameras and the TV. And I said, is this what politics has come down to? And then I thought about it more, and I said, you know what? It's really a good thing. It's really a good thing. Back like 200 years ago, when they were debating the Constitution of the United States, people would literally stand up on a soapbox and sit there and argue with each other in the town square.
Right.
And if anybody knows anything about history, there was the Federalist Papers. I'm sure you saw Hamilton.
I did.
Right.
Twice.
And and there was Thomas Jefferson was on one side.
Yep.
Right. And who was on the other side?
The French?
No, in the Federalist Papers, they were debating on whether they should have a strong U.S. government.
Well, it was Hamilton and Jefferson.
Right.
And Aaron Burr kind of
Correct.
in there. But
Right. And there was a whole debate on whether or not they should have a strong federal government, states' rights, and they would literally stand up on soapboxes and argue with each other, and try to get their points across.
Right.
And you want to know what? It kind of reminded me of that in a little bit here. And here they were, the Democrats and the Republicans are Trump in a live press conference, literally arguing about whether or not there should be a border wall, whether or not it should be funded.
Yeah.
And actually, after I thought about it, I said, that's good for democracy.
Huh.
That was my thought after I thought it was all canned and staged.
It's true. I did like the way that they were kind of taking barbs at each other. Is that right?
So
Taking shots at each other.
So Trump said, if we don't get what we want, and I'm quoting him, one way or the other, I'm going to shut down the government. Okay. He said I'm proud to shut down the government for border security. I will take the mantle of shutting it down. And then Nancy Pelosi responded, okay, we're going to call this the Trump shutdown.
Right.
Okay, now the worst thing, Trump stuck his foot in his mouth. Because the worst thing in the world is to take responsibility for shutting down the government.
Absolutely.
Because most Americans say, come on, this is stupid already.
Yeah.
You sound like little children shutting down the government. I don't get what I want, so I'm going to. So whoever ends up taking responsibility for the shutdown usually loses these fights.
Right.
And Trump, who's a pretty smart politician, but in this case, I would say, made a huge mistake by taking responsibility for shutting down the government here.
Yeah.
So now, how is this all going to play out? Well, if the government shuts down, we get questions about this all the time on VAWA cases. VAWA, the Violence Against Women's Act, the battered spouse cases, that has been funded through December 21st. After that, it's over. There's no funding for it anymore. There's no more law. It sunsets. So if Trump actually shuts down the government, and there is no deal in place, and there's no deal in place for VAWA, plus funding 6 other, government agencies and funding bills and everything else. Not only is the government going to shut down, but it's going to affect a lot of people's immigration cases, their VAWA cases.
Wow.
It's just going to come to a halt.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean immigration's going to throw away the cases. Not going to throw them in the garbage. Immigration's going to wait to see what the result is of this government shutdown, if it actually happens, and whether VAWA will be funded and continue or not. But certainly, this is not just about border walls. This is about VAWA. This is about a lot of things.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.